Meow.
Oh.
Nope. We're back. We're in it.
Whose beautiful voice is that over the
my
internet?
goodness.
I don't know yet. I can't be certain. There's maybe a video feed of you, and I may be able to stare into your eyes, but it could all be faked.
We both
You
are
ever
wearing
get that
glasses.
worry?
It's probably just a reflection that's making it so pretty.
Hey.
It's the lights. It's that Rihanna song. It's the lights shine bright like a Meowman.
Light like a diamond.
Yeah.
Oh.
A Meowman.
Well, you know what also shines bright inside my room right now? It is volume 4, 5, and 6. The
Nice.
slightly plasticky, reflective cover of One Piece. And why would that be sitting on my desk, you ask? It's because I happen to be a part of a
Nice.
two-person podcast effort called The Grand Line Tourist. We are a chapter-by-chapter examining or re-examining, if you're my friend across the interwebs there, of Eiichiro Oda's One Piece. I, going and diving into this grand adventure for the first time, am Jacob Jarecki, and with an introduction that will also relate to shiny things somehow in a vague, awesome reference on the spot is...
the one and only, the North Star. Some would say the guiding star or the tour guide of outer space. It's I, Eric C. Vu. That was pretty good, right? I kind of made that up on the spot.
Oh, yeah. No, star, bright and shiny.
Yeah,
It was
I've
good.
taken
I like
basic improv 101.
yeah.
Yeah, super excited to be here. Let's just
And
chat a
you've
little
never
bit.
been queued up better than that in your whole
That
career.
was pretty good. I have to say, you wrapped me up pretty well. You gave me some time to think, and I was like, I got it. I'll just follow my gut. I'll yes and Jacob here and just see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. So, without any further ado, today am going to go ahead and lead us into the chapter we're talking about, Chapter 31, Truth.
Nice.
On the bold itinerary for today is we start off with Kaya dreaming about Usopp.
Yeah.
Aw, kind of sweet until it goes a little awry, with Usopp kind of yelling at her because they didn't leave off on a great foot the last time they talked. She gets up, she wanders around the home and finds the not quite so murdered Mary as I had at once predicted. He's extremely injured though. And they talk about how only
he's built
Kaya.
different.
Yeah, he's built different. I cannot believe that. Man, that's a lot of it. Just
there's
we have
a lot.
characters that can really, really take a beating. But we have them talking about how only Kaya can stop Captain Kuro, the faithful Clawhador. Now, she passes on her way out of the home, having decided that she's going to do something about this, right? You know, as sickly
Usopp
as
was
she
telling
is,
the truth. She realized that he was telling the truth.
It's what a rough day for everyone involved, and she winds up finding the vegetable gang on her way out, moving pretty slow. The vegetable gang finds her, is to more exactly phrase it.
Right, as she's walking
but
very slowly through town.
we left down on that one slope that will never be breached.
Nope.
We have the Meowban Brothers, as mentioned in the previous chapter. Ship guards Butchie and Siam leaping into action, while Luffy kind of just continues to sleep, underneath a gigantic masthead of a ship. These ship guards pretend to be scaredy cats, but are actually very capable, with Siam taking 2 of Zolo's swords in a quick skirmish after pretending to be, I don't know what I'm doing, yada, yada, boom. Zolo's sword's in her hand. That's not good. Not good. Zolo's a swordsman.
And he needs all.
Now he's like a single swords person.
He doesn't do single sword style. That's not his thing.
Ugh.
He doesn't even do 2 sword style. He has to do 3. But
only odd numbered over 1 number of swords.
Right, exactly. That's the rule. That was the rule that we just came up with.
I feel like he could work up towards 5. That's what I'm getting at.
Right.
1's no good. But I feel like maybe he could put 2 in his feet. That's coming later. Oh my goodness. Tinfoil prediction.
Oh, wow.
Zolo at some point will use more than 3 swords. I'm not going to say it has to be odd, because I feel like that's a tough
too
ask.
many.
But
That's
I'll
too many
say
layers.
more than 3. Too many layers. We'll start with more than 3. And if he lands on 5, I'll say I predicted it anyway. So that's how this works.
Yeah, so that's this chapter. We got just a little setup from the Kaya side. We got to get Kaya involved in this. I would say she has a very unprecedented like nightmare about Usopp in the beginning of this chapter. He goes as far, Nightmare Usopp goes as far as to say, "Well, I'll kill you," which
Pretty
is
rough, yeah.
a little nutty. And I'm thinking, and you can go, you can kind of talk to me about this because I'm calling this section the truth comes Meowth. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been doing it on podcasts, but this is the one that I want to make sure you noticed that I've been trying to get these cat puns in. Yeah, I'm wondering if this is like the how toxic a lie can go, because it goes pretty. This is kind of based off of the lie that Clawdor says about him, like how much you like how he can't get rid of his pirate blood, how his true colors are always to be a pirate, and it kind of comes to haunt her. And I don't know if that's because of the lie or if that's because it's like, one of her fears coming to truth, or she doesn't know him. It's one of the things. It's many things, but it does feel very like, what has Usopp done to you that has earned this nightmare, right? Like, it's weird.
Yeah, I think just to read it the way I would read it right now would something to do with their emotional confrontation, right? These are very good friends that have spent a lot of time together, with Usopp telling her stories, and whenever you have friction or some sort of external circumstance get in the way of that, I think it just feels maybe bigger than it actually is, Like, I think Kaya and Usopp are going to have a well-earned, come to terms with each other and regain their friendship very quickly. You know what I mean? I don't think I don't think the fixing of this is actually going to take a lot of effort, but I think right now, in the broken state, it sucks, right? And so I think that's maybe why she had such a strange dream about it. And maybe it's like a small subconscious signal to her that she might not be appreciating Usopp's past in the way that, she hasn't thought as much about how it affects him. And maybe now she's kind of dwelling on that a little bit.
Yeah. I also noticed that it's a good moment for her, because she does have to kind of solve this, and it's her arc too, right? She needs to kind of get past this thing. So it's great that we let Mary live. It was a little funny when she's like, "Well, where's everybody else?" And Mary's like, "Well, they're all on vacation, miss." Which I don't know if that was established earlier, but it was just a little funny being like, "Well, I sent them all on vacation. They're all at a different East Blue Island."
I think I wasn't originally, when I saw that too, I was like, is this just lazy? I think it might have been set up before, and if it was, it could make sense in regards to, I feel like Clawdor would have been in charge of that, and I think he would send them on vacation because he wants his plan to go through fairly unencumbered, right?
Right.
That's what my brain currently says is what's happening, but it does sound funny just to hear, you know what? And you need to do it. And you know why? Because everybody's on vacation.
Yeah, because everybody's going. Pack your bags, folks. I got you 3 tickets to the other side of the island. The other thing, too, like, man, our boy Mary waking up from the dead like that. Yeah. He's built different, like I was saying earlier. Who
built different. I really think Oda likes drawing him bloodied on the floor. Like, I feel like we've noticed, like, the fact that he's still there and he's important. It's like the 5th time we've seen this epic blood smear of, like, it feels like it's straight out of a horror film.
Yeah, and he's still fine, and he's even the one, even though of all the blood that we've seen, he's still the one thinking like, let me do the math on this. Wait.
Oh yeah, no, he was. Mary's so interesting because originally I thought he was a complete background character that was not even going to have more than an occasional speaking line.
Yeah.
And like by now, I think he's like he shot Usopp, right?
Yeah.
And now, he gets attacked by Clawdor. He relays really important information to Nami and, like, kind of directs her on what to do with that information.
Yeah.
And you know what? How direct... Okay. I feel like I got another tinfoil hat coming on.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Because originally the plan, just to make sure, we're kind of now in the thick of a large plot line here. So it might be good to recap. The plan is, at least as far as, Captain Kuro is concerned, to bring Django to Kaya to hypnotize her in order to have her sign a will, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's the plan. Yeah, I feel like maybe Mary is like Captain Kuro's ace in the hole. Like, he wanted to give Kaya a reason to just willingly give up everything, right? And to do that, he said, you know what, Mary, what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to brutalize you to the point where no one would ever think we're on the same side. I'm going to beat you up so bad that
you think he's in
no
it?
one.
Interesting.
I don't. This tinfoil hat's coming out again. Tinfoil time. That this would be the only way that would work out. But I don't have my whole tinfoil hat's not invested in that solution. But it just what it was it's how Mary delivers what Kaya should do so bluntly.
Yes.
And the fact that it ends with you should give up your fortune to Clawhador right away on your own terms just made me think like that seems dastardly. And like why is Mary saying that? And I always thought Mary and Clawhador were kind of like number 1, number 2 around the house.
Okay.
I'm wondering if he's been dealt in. That's what I want to know. And I'm sure I'm wrong, but if I'm not, I'm not.
If you're not,
so
you got to build an actual tinfoil, and we'll take a hat.
I'll take it. No, I would gladly build a tinfoil hat if I get something right like this.
I also, the last thing I want to say about this section is just, man, she's like really sick. It didn't really shape until she's having like a hard time just walking through the village.
This is another thing that we better get more information about. Otherwise, it's very interesting. It's just not common to have. It's almost like Oda's being progressive in so many different ways. Like, he's like, you know what? It feels a lot like, I feel like it's bad to say it's a little tropey, but like, there's been a lot of TV and episodes of things where there is a deaf character and I think they're being singled out because it's something that a lot of people have thought about, but it's something everyone can relate to and kind of understand pretty easily, and you can get a very big emotional pull from it. And this feels like the opposite of that, right? Like just like somebody who has a condition that severely limits them without even specifying or saying much about it, right? Being a pivotal character in your story, right? It's like it's begging in my mind for an explanation, but that's almost just like what I expect from stories. But it really honestly doesn't need one.
Right.
So we'll see if we get something for that.
Yeah, I just forgot. And just looking at this one panel, I was like, man, this girl's going to die before she gets to the beach. Good thing she ran into these food boys who's I'm assuming, going to assist her in some capacity.
Okay, no, that makes sense. I see why she made it to them.
Yeah,
I think for
sure.
It's going to be funny.
Yeah. Okay, so let's kind of chat about the next section of this, which is the reveal of the Meowban Brothers, which is Siam and Butchie.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what do you think of these character designs? What do we think of whatever?
The thing that I gotta throw it out. It's wild character design. It's almost, I want to say again, Oda being exceptionally progressive in a way, because these characters almost feel like they're pushing on edgy or transgressive in terms of, I feel like not being exceptionally masculine. You know what I mean? Like having very feminine elements to their character while being the Meowban Brothers. I'm not sure if that's just something that maybe in Japan would just be considered funny. These are some men with some very strange, more effeminate characteristics, or if it's intentional. Like, no, I think I want to see more just people in the world existing in different ways. And it's not like they're crazy or anything. It's probably mostly, I think, Siam, who kind of has a little bit on the hair side of things, and a little bit on the show thinner legs, lots of reveal on the legs. But then that winds up being a little bit funny when you see the leg hair a little bit, at least. But again, that's only because of my built-in preconceptions about all this stuff. That's why I feel like I'm so confused about where One Piece fits in, because I'm reading it with my 2022 mind, right? And that's not the right mind to be reading it with. So no, that was the first thing that popped into my head in regards to the character design. But I loved it. I like the character design. Got kind of like a thinner one. We got like a big bulbous one. They're fun.
Yeah, and they all God, Butchie has a bell around his neck like a little cat. There's just a lot, man. There's a bell there. My goodness, it's just. Where in the world did he design these two? They came out of nowhere. Here they are, apparently gonna make some sort of impact on this fight, which they do. I do have to mention that Siam fights with deception, which is kind of a big thing, which is just another form of lying, which is just he's very deceptive in his fight. No, yeah, they pretend to be something, and then, it tricks Zoro and gets him a leg up. So, they're using, you're right, a lie to get ahead. Yeah, a lie to get ahead and kind of steal his sword from him, which is really, really dirty. It's a lot of different things that kind of, it's he's worried. I think this might be one of the first time where he noticed a move from an enemy. I was like, oh, this is kind of a bigger deal than I went on. So the danger seems to be a little bit more heightened, at least in this fight so far.
Definitely. No, and I think I didn't have too much else to say about them. I mean, the only thing you kind of mentioned there is that they're having an impact, and they are, but I still feel like my brain questions, are these a little bit more fillery than other characters we've had, you know? I feel like they're getting introduced, and if they get dealt with in the next chapter 2, I might be like, the Meowban Brothers didn't have quite as big of an impact as I'd hoped. But, thinking about it now, I think Oda does like to do this to expand the idea of what the pirate crew is.
Yeah.
To kind of have a few special, people from the pirate crew that haven't been seen kind of show up. Like, I'm thinking of the unicycle character now. From Buggy's crew.
God, what
so
was his name?
it's I don't know, maybe it's just kind of part and parcel with that sort of technique there. Expand the world of what the crew is, so we understand it a little bit more. Even though I'm not sure if I understand it more. I feel like it's expanded, but I don't think my circle about what this crew means and how they operate doesn't make sense. Like, they keep 2 people on the crew for the case where they need to trick somebody into thinking that those would be the people that wouldn't be good at fighting, only so that they could be good at fighting. No, it just or they're just 2 good guards.
Maybe that's just what it is. Yeah, maybe they're just guards, and that's their technique the whole time, which is like to pretend.
Yeah,
like
guards are always good, and then they just they of course use it to their advantage.
Right, they're always the weakest one who gets left behind, but really they're gonna destroy you. Sort of deal. I don't know. It must have worked.
It's interesting,
right? They get to stay back all the time, so it must have worked in the past. That's pretty much this whole chapter. I don't have much else to say before we get to the ha-has. Do you have anything else before?
No, this was a quick one, and I think it's time for a little bit of ha-has, some laughs. What do you got? I didn't have too many. I just knew there was lots of cat stuff. I didn't actually write a ton of them down. I was like, there's another one. There's another one.
Got cats. That's my first one. It's this really stupid pun at the end, which is after Siam steals the swords, Butchie goes, he's a cat burglar. Oh, wink, wink. It's a dumb joke, and I'm laughing that it's a dumb joke, and I still like it. So it's gonna stick. It made it to this page.
It made it to our section, and if it can make it to our section, it can go for miles.
It can go wherever it wants.
I'm not to be a party pooper, but I didn't write them down just because I think these didn't hit me as hard as they usually do. I think it's just because they're cats, and I feel like I've just heard a lot of cat puns in my life. Usually,
that's fair.
The content for the puns, it pushes me beyond that point of like, yeah, no, that's a good one. These ones, they were good. I almost like just the introduction of it made me smile, made me a little excited to see. Come on down, Meowban Brothers.
Yeah, I know, like a freaking circus again too. God, these two look like they fit more with Buggy's crew than they do with this cat crew.
Exactly.
No one else has done this cat theme as hard as these two, man. Can I say it? Like, my goodness. My last joke actually comes up in the SBS. And it gets a little bit more involved. One of the first questions about why is he always dry animals? Does he like animals? He has a really fun answer about how he does like animals to a degree, but he likes to make them outside of average and kind of give them fun little things to look at. But my favorite part is that we get this really kind of pervy question of a writer asking, "Can we get Nami's measurements?" Wink, wink. And Oda does a really cool thing where he answers kind of like, yeah, I'll go do it. But then he has like a dialogue with Nami. And then Nami's character kind of pops up into the SBS, which is kind of like, oh, that's surprising. That's kind of a fun little joke, a little interaction that I just didn't expect. So it's kind of like a joke, but mostly like an impressive. That's a little creative. You did like a fun thing there where it could have gone weird.
I did like the meta nature of what he chose to do with that question. Mm-hmm. I think maybe the responding of the question and like how he responds to it still is like a little like just like a little odd, but yeah. What's your measurements, Eric?
7'3". If anybody's asking questions, I'm a 7'3". Used to play tight end, power forward for Duke.
Power forward, tight end. Oh my goodness.
for Duke University of Cincinnati. Right, it's all
You were
real
good
places.
at making field goals in both sports.
Yeah, I was very,
Right, there
very
we
good
go.
at it.
Field
Before I
goal
decided
in
to go into law school, that we all know how that turned out.
Exactly.
Let's fight. Let's fight each other. There's catnips. There's cat stealings, cat burglaries. There's cat claws, swords being stolen. Let's get into ours. Let's steal some panels. Steal some hearts.
My
get
claws
to
are
our-
unsheathed, and it's time for the panel battle. The part of the podcast where Eric gets out all the tom drums and hits them in short succession.
Yep,
And
yep.
and then we talk about our favorite panels from the entire chapter, and we encourage you all out there to send in your favorite panels, possibly before the episode airs, and we will throw it into the mix. You can do that at grandlinetourist@gmail.com, and
Yeah.
it's just a fun little thing we do to expand and look at a bit more of Eiichiro's art.
We're not the only two, right? We're not the only two reading this, going through it. All you all are doing it, so we like it. Just come in, send it in.
Yeah.
The battle ring is warm, nice and cozy, filled with blood and misinterpretations of panels. It's all that good stuff. Should I go first? I can go first.
Right.
I should go first because
Do
you did the beautiful itinerary today, so I should take the first the cat punch. And bam,
All right.
bam. There we go. It's going up.
Oh, this is a panel in which we have Zoro facing off with one of the Meowban brothers. In particular, this is Siam, who is this the is this the first panel where we see Siam kind of like go full like using their abilities?
Yes, this is
Okay, yeah,
this is
so
the
we got-
actual connection. The one with Zoro's like, oh, this is a real attack. He can hit
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
So Siam here is using their gloved, clawed, muscular arms on the left arm to grab onto the sword that Zoro is pushing with one hand and holding into the other. And I assume that right hand of Siam that's maybe where we get to reach around to steal some of Zoro's swords potentially. And we just got a big ka-ching, exclamation points, sparks flying as the gloved, clawed hand of Siam deals with that sword. No, so this is a big tense moment where they're both kind of like pushing against one another in a way that Zoro was not expecting.
And I think you kind of named what I liked about it. This is kind of like maybe the only foreshadow I think of how he steals the swords, because I think this move was
Gotcha.
very surprising. I think you kind of nailed it. Which is his other hand, his right hand, looks ready to steal those. Like you can kind of say,
It's not dealing with the swords at all. Yeah.
yeah, you can kind of say it's like in the stealing position for sure. Like to cut those things off his waist for sure. I also like, you kind of alluded to it, but you get a piece of his dirty leg hairs in this this
there it
close-up.
is.
Yeah, closest to the edge of the panel here, we see his leg hairs coming out. It's not even
Oh
a
yeah,
lot
I
of
know.
hairs.
That's a callback. It's a callback to that foreshortening technique. The leg hairs are nice and big because it's very close to the camera view of the panel there.
There you go. That's a call out to Peter.
No,
See?
I like it. Yeah. You write in and we'll call you out constantly. You'll never. You will become.
You'll be
idolized in a podcast.
One of us. One of us. That's my panel. Based off your reaction, I guess we have broken the streak. We are not going 3 in a row of matching panels.
I mentioned the leg hair before. I'm just playing it cool, and then all of a sudden, there's going to be a trumpeting noise that just comes in the background there, edited in, if the panels are the same. But you'll have to open my Chapter 31 panel to find out if that is the case.
It's not the case.
Oh,
Which
so
one
your
is
panel,
it?
My panel is the lower left panel of this one.
I love it. This is after Django calls them down, the Meowban Brothers, to come down, and it says, "Of course we'll go." And then we just see tiny silhouettes, assuming this is how high they have jumped off the deck of the ship down to the beach. But we can clearly see one really fat one, or one more circular, oval, pentagony shape, no, a hexagony shape, and the other one looks like a skinnier stature coming down, and we have the word "ta-da" popping up too. This is a really cool panel. I like it. It's kind of a fun little point of view shot that we see of them falling all the way down. It's very anime-esque. They have the action line kind of pointing towards that the focal point of the action, which is them falling, going up, and then maybe that might even be the apex of them coming back down. So
Yeah, the way you put it actually does cause my interpretation of the panel to change a little bit. For some reason, I was picturing them, they just look like they have wings and they're flying like across the panel, like maybe top to bottom, and they're coming outwards. But I actually think you're probably right that they're coming down, having jumped off something else. But either way, I just really like the silhouettes. If you're going to introduce, like, I think the actual order of introduction for these characters is going to be, is it wind up being, it's their legs first ready to jump, right? Their knees kind of ready. And then it's like, you get their leg hair in their knees and their like pants, and then you get their silhouettes in the air. And I just like,
that is a really cool thing that you're noticing there. Somebody. It's a fun little preparation to it. He purposely hides their face in both of those panels prior to the jump.
Yeah, and I think it's because their faces really make them look, I think, a lot goofier than they do. Like, I mean,
yeah,
the legs help. The legs are already like, but you might just be thinking, okay, it's a skinny one and a bigger one, right? And what we're dealing with is kind of like, your sumo wrestler type, and then you're like more swashbuckling fancy pants type. But no.
Instead, you get
once you see their faces, you're like, oh, yeah.
Two weird cat people, one with a bow tie, one with a bell, man. This is where we're at. This is the fight. And believe it or not, these are the two that gives Zoro the biggest fight so far that we've had in the series, I think. So at least it got him worried. He's like, he's ready to fight for sure.
So having just squared off in the panel battle, I think, you haven't been giving me as many tinfoil hat ideas as you possibly could. I feel like I've been the only one wearing a tinfoil hat. And so, in the spirit of Mary, imagine that you've just been utterly rampaged and destroyed and dragged across the carpet. And now you want to tell me some of those, maybe wild, maybe half dream, half reality tinfoil hat ideas for what's going to happen in the future of One Piece. So I walk into the room and I'm like, hey, Eric, are you all right? Eric! No! Oh, he's dead, isn't he? Of course he's dead. There's all this blood. It's everywhere.
Don't forget the goldfish.
No. The goldfish?
The goldfish.
Where is it? Is it in the ocean?
Hark.